Hi mate, pre-season's all over now and the serious stuff starts at the weekend. Are you happy with the way pre-season's gone?
Yeah, I am. I knew how pre-season would be because we had we put a form thing out at the start of pre-season with all the training sessions we had and the games that we had lined up. Just so I knew when people were on holiday or had work or whatever, and I knew it was going to be a bit messy and a bit of a mismatch because the lads were away for 2 weeks, some lads were away for 4 weeks, and so I'm happy with how it's gone, knowing that we've had quite a few people away, but there's been lots of positives come out of that because of people being away as well. So yeah, I'm happy with how it's been.
With holidays and things, the fans haven't seen anywhere near a full strength side, and we'll still have players missing come this maybe kick-off, won't we?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, so John's away still, Max is away, Fords is away as well. So those three away. I think Billy gets back tomorrow night. Friday night he gets back for Saturday. So yeah, but it's been nice this week. Tuesday, Thursday, we've had what I would say is the most amount of people at training who are all part of the first team squad. So it's been really nice to have those 2 sessions with them this week.
We brought 7 new players in and a couple promoted from the reserves. Must be difficult for them all to bond straight away. Have they all impressed you so far, the new lads?
Yeah, no, they have. They've trained really hard. I think with the players we've signed, we knew what we were going to get out of them effort-wise and kind of just general attitude-wise. So they've been absolutely spot on. A few of the lads who've come in already know some of the lads who were here. Some of them already knew me, some of them already knew Craig and Prof. So they fitted in absolutely fine. And the lads who've stayed from last season, they've been absolutely top. They've been really good. They've been welcoming. They've supported the new players who've come in. Been really encouraging with them, but also setting a real high standard for what the season should be for us.
And we now have an under-18 squad. I mean, the kids you've used pre-season haven't looked out of place. I'm guessing you wouldn't worry at all about throwing them in at the deep end?
No, well, we've registered 4 or 5 of them who we feel has over-earned it and deserve to be registered with us this season. But again, with lads being away, it's been an opportunity for some of those boys to come in, and they've done really well. I've been really impressed. We knew some of them from last season already, Joseph Scott, for example, who'd been with us in training and taken part in some of our matches last season as well. But there's 2 or 3 others who we've signed on who I've been very impressed with, and if and when they're needed, I'd have no hesitation putting them in.
And the 7 apart, we made another sign that we haven't done a welcome interview with yet. Tom Price, can you tell us about him, Chris?
Yes, Tom Price has signed. He was with Billingham last year. He's played at West Auckland previous to that. Also knows Craig and Prof very well. He'll bring into the squad I think some leadership, some experience. He's left-footed, can play centre-back or can play left-back as well. Very, very, very good personality in the changing room as well.
I've heard he's a bit of a joker, no?
Yeah, he'll fit in really quickly. I think he could walk into a brand new changing room anywhere in the country and just kind of fit in straight away. So he'd be a good addition on that side of things too.
Is there any chance of any more new signings, Chris, or are you happy with what you have now?
Yeah, I think that's us. That's us for now. I mean, listen, the season things can change and people can get injured or people change work and can move and all the rest of it, and then we'd have to adapt then. But I'm really happy with the squad that we've got. I think we've got good cover across the defence midfield and the forward areas. I know the first 3-4 weeks of the season, Max Allen's going to be away, John's away for the first week, so that part of it we'll just kind of have to manage our way through. But in general, I'm happy with what we've got.
Do we have an injury list going into the season? I mean, there's been a few that haven't featured the last few games. Atki being one of them. He's been missing for a while.
Yeah, he's had there's a little niggly calf problem really, but he's trained this week and he's been fine, so he'll be okay to play tomorrow. On Saturday. Aaron Williams also obviously coming into the club off a fairly long layoff. And if you ask Aaron, he'd be ready to play 90 minutes and then play 90 minutes the next day, train the next day. But I think it's my job to kind of see the bigger picture for him and look after him. And we may not see the best of Aaron another few months down the line, maybe. You know, he had a really serious knee injury, and he hasn't played again for a year and a half, 2 years. But you can see him training, you can see in some of the games he showed what he's all about. But we just need to manage him through, and we will. We will.
And we talked about Atki. Is the new club captain now? Was there much thought went into that decision, or was he the obvious choice?
Yeah, no, there was. I mean, we've got a group of lads we're speaking to now as part of like a leadership group in the squad, and he's one of those. But with Aki being captain, I think what we saw from him last season when he was playing was that the way he plays and the way he thinks is similar to the way we think as a management team. I think on the pitch, whilst you might not hear him shouting and bawling all the time, you'll hear him talking to people and getting them into positions that they should be, like really proactive with how he is. He lead by example with the way he plays. He's obviously a fantastic player, and yeah, I think it makes sense to have him as captain this season.
We've mentioned that we'll still have players missing next week. You and your coaches must have discussed it, and I'm not going to ask you where it is, but do you think you know in your head what your best starting 11 is?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much there. There's a couple of bits we need to just have a think about before Saturday. But yeah, I think we are where we are for this Saturday at least. The lads coming back from holidays and all the rest of it. Yeah.
What's the situation with Billy this season? I know he's away at the moment, but will his job be deciding when he's available again this season?
Yeah, I think this will be the same as last year. And I mean, Billy, you know what he's like. If he can get a cover, he can get an early finish here and there. He's there, and he'll be there whenever he can be. But again, we've made sure that when we've recruited this summer, that we've got other people who can step in and play up front. And if we're playing two up front, or if we're playing one up front, then we've got enough people to be able to do that in the squad now. So yeah, obviously we love Billy here every single time, but we're aware and we're ready for him not to be here as well.
It's going to be a tough league this season. There's a lot of clubs throwing money around. Which do you think will be the clubs to watch out for?
Yeah, I mean there's the obvious ones, and you can see who've signed I don't know what I would call probably the bigger name players, and they look and go, wow, they've signed him and they've signed him, and obviously those kind of players command a fair amount of money to get those players to sign for you. So you'd think those teams would be up there, but there's two or three other teams that I've kind of kept an eye on, because I watched quite a few games last year in the Northern League, and there's a few other teams who've made a few, I think, solid signings, and they've already got a kind of good base and a kind of what I thought was a good work ethic in their teams already. So yeah, I'm ready for a tough season, and it will be. I think it'll be really challenging, but we're ready for it.
And they've changed the way the playoffs work this season. There's no interleague playoffs. And by that I mean the league winners will be promoted.
Yeah.
The next four places will play off.
Yeah.
Clubs have got the top five to aim at. I mean, a lot of clubs will fancy finishing top five, won't they?
Oh, of course, absolutely, they will, and I think it makes for an exciting league. It'll mean that there's probably something to play for all the way till the end of the season, because maybe in the past I probably sometimes look at the Northern League, and maybe it's the back end of some season, some teams will kind of die off a little bit, and then other teams will kind of have a bit of a walkover really and beat them convincingly, where hopefully with this kind of incentive of the top five having something to play for, hopefully that won't happen as much.
It was difficult for you last season. You came in a couple of months into the season and you inherited somebody else's signings. Yeah. You're fresh from the start this season. Yeah. I think the fans have a right to be confident of a good season, don't they?
Yeah, but again, I've said this on interviews before. Like, there's no excuses for me from last season. Like, we had enough in that squad. We should have stayed up last year. It's as simple as that. But we haven't, and we've got a chance to have a go at it again. And yes, we've made some significant changes. Some of which out of our hands, some of them in our hands. But we're really happy with what we've brought in, and I say as we move towards being that kind of sustainable football club, I think we've got some really young, hungry players there. Some of which will come in and hit the ground running and contribute straight away, but there's some others there who will I hope will grow with us. So as we get better as a team and continue with the season, I think you'll see those players improve as well.
Chris, thanks very much for that, mate, and the very best of luck for the season ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.